it's not the first time it's been done, but it's probably the first time it's been done on such a small machine. This is a 1965 Toro Snowhound 20 with a 4.5 horsepower diesel on it. This is a Chinese import diesel that you probably wouldn't see on any piece of equipment in North America or Europe for that part. The emissions on these things are pretty bad, and they're really only meant to be used in mainland China. So they are pretty compact for being a diesel, and they do have the power of a diesel, but as you'll see, this thing rolls coal. Originally it had a 2.5 horsepower Tecumseh engine on it, which was much smaller than this. Also, this engine's much wider than the original engine, so it had to be blocked up in order for the engine to clear. It's in a GX configuration, like a Honda GX, but something interesting is like the bolts aren't flush with the castings, so that's just something interesting. A lot of other engines, this is not a problem. It's much wider than a typical GX, so this starter shroud barely clears the tire here, just by a little bit. It is a mechanically injected engine. There's no glow plug. And if you come around here, say, fuel comes down from the tank through the fuel filter, where this is the fuel pump, which is high pressure up to the injector, and then this is the bypass that brings it back to the tank. All right, let's take it for a spin. So unlike a typical gas engine, this has a very unique starting procedure. First thing we need to do is we're going to set the throttle by lowering this knob and then retightening it. And this will just set the engine at a consistent RPM, probably 2,500 to 3,000. These don't run very fast. Next thing we need to do is we're going to push the decompression down, and then we're going to pull the handle, and we're going to find more or less where the compression gets too high so that I can't pull it. Without the decompression, you cannot pull this engine over. If you try, it's just so high you can't do it. You can pull as hard as you want, it isn't going to do it. So we have to find that point, and the reason we have to find that point is we have to get enough momentum in the flywheel for it to get over that when I pull it over the first time. How practical is this compared with a modern snowblower? Well, it did do the driveway pretty good. It didn't take all that long. And if you're willing to run with it, it does manage to move the snow. This is an interesting combination. Most snowblowers that are single stage have rubber paddles. This one has steel paddles. So really anything that encounters it is going through the chute whether it likes it or not. I got a buddy of mine who's chucked a couple pizza boxes through one of these once. It works too. So it's got all the power it needs. Double what the original power is, and that's something that's kind of interesting. A lot of old equipment is very well built, but is usually underpowered. So this actually does pretty good. You saw that the snow is probably being thrown a good 20 feet in some cases, which is pretty impressive for a little guy like this. So it's been a few minutes, probably a good half hour, and the snowblower is very cold. So let's see how hard it is to start. It's about 16 degrees right now.
Fahrenheit. We don't do that Celsius stuff.
Set some throttle. I like how it's already smoking.
Fully autonomous, from what year?
1955.
There we go. Don't let it hit the ball though.
So, diesel-powered snowblower. Is it the way of the future? Well, thanks to EPA regulations, not anytime soon.